So I'm here with Richard Everett today, and well, tonight actually we've been just recording this beautiful version, this abridged version of the Christmas Carol by none other than Charles Dickens. How did you get into this first? How did you first come into?
Well, funnily enough, the first person who asked me to do it was my dear brother, who's sadly not with us anymore. But he did it he asked me to do it as a charity evening. He did a little dinner and asked me if I would do it. And then I said, well, it's awfully long and it's a big job to kind of abridge it. And then a little bit of research discovered that Dickens himself toured it. Because he was as much an actor as he was a writer. And he did an abridged version of A Christmas Carol. And I found the original text that he used. And thought, well, and I timed it, and I thought, well, that's actually makes quite a nice evening.
Yeah.
So and then I've done it a couple of times, and we've had mulled wine or whatever in an interval.
Tell me, what is it about this story that for you as a writer, as an actor over many years now of plays, you've written so many plays, you've done so many acts, you can find you on the internet. What makes this, as an actor, appeal to you? And as a writer, what is it about?
Well, as a writer, you can only just stand in awe of it, really. As an actor, it's a nightmare because basically Dickens writes these incredibly long sentences that you have to drive to the end of, and you almost need an oxygen mask in order to get there. But of course, it's the most wonderful language. And interestingly, I've read it to quite young children, and I've always said to them, don't worry about language or words that you don't quite understand. Just stay with the feel of the story, because what Dickens captures is the most wonderful tale of redemption, really. And actually, when you're doing it as an actor, you it's like riding a horse. It's like it carries you. You've just got to bring as much energy to it as possible, and then it'll carry you. It's not a story you can read with half measures. You've got to go for it and commit to it.
Yeah, it does feel that way, doesn't it? Diving in and just
and it's because it's so full of emotion and colour and characters and it's a beautiful story.
We're very much looking forward to you broadcasting this, us broadcasting it with you on the 8th of December 2024. But I have this feeling that this very thing will happen again and again. I think it's a piece, as we've been recording it here with you, I've felt its own pull once again for me. The story is so moving. Yeah. There are moments. What would be your favourite moment in the whole of this little playlet?
It's a really hard one because I have favourite moments and favourite characters. One of my favourite characters is Fezziwig. I just think he's so full of life, and Mrs. Fezziwig, and that description of them dancing is just a joy. And the fact that he could wink with his legs, it's just...
That was, as you said it, I'm sitting here watching it, and I wanted to laugh out loud.
Yeah. So there's that. Then another of my favourite moments is this, out of nowhere, is this little vignette about his broken engagement.
Yeah, yeah.
And she's, I mean, what a fool he was. Yeah. She was a catch. Yeah. She's so understood him. And it's so moving the way she says, I'm going to do this in honour of the person you once were. Yeah. It's just heartbreaking.
But I love also the onomatopoeic language that he always used, to describe people. Oliver Twist, and there would be bleak house. What's it about? Well, it's about a bleak house. There's and the Fezziwig is well, it's difficult to say apart from anything else, isn't it? Fezziwig and Grimwig he used in Oliver Twist. Yeah. So it's these names are so difficult to forget, but it's so impossible to pronounce. So there's that. We take away with it too a terribly moral message at the end, don't we? There are many allusions to Jesus in it from Tiny Tim. That message of hope. The child stood in the middle. All those kind of things that you think, And at the end, what is the message? What is the message that it leaves us in a troubled and a broken world? What does it say to us today?
Well, to me, it talks about it's talking about change, but not in a sense of I must start behaving, but a change from deep within, and that somehow that happens by a spiritual development. It's spirits that take him to these places. No matter how hard we try, no matter how disciplined we are, we need help. And it's a tale of extremes. You've got on the one hand somebody who's utterly obnoxious and selfish and greedy, becomes the picture of generosity and care, and he becomes a father to, so, and that kind of radical
that
change.
Second father, he becomes a second father to. Yeah. That's very
beautiful,
gulping moment, isn't it? You're trying to hold back the tears.
Yeah. But also the joy that he gets out of the change.
Yeah.
I mean, it is interesting whether you to use this or not, but actually the original translation of repentance is change, metanoia.
Yeah.
Change is a very powerful thing. It doesn't mean getting a grip on yourself. It means allowing yourself to be changed, which is what happens to him. And I think that is the central thing, is that's where the hope comes from. It isn't that we're suddenly nasty people made good. It's that we're changed people. We can become more like our Maker. And as Tiny Tim, God bless us all.
That's as good a place to end it. Richard Everett, playwright, actor, friend. Thank you so much for coming in and doing this with us.
Well, thank you for inviting me. It's been fun, and it's a privilege always to do this.
Thank you.